Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to be talking about Doctor Who, the collection range. And we're going to be talking about Season 21 and things I would like Season 21 to have. We'll talk about some extras I think need to be on it, and then I'm going to talk about the front art and some stuff I want for the front art. First off, I believe Twin Dilemma needs a making of. I think that's the only thing this season that hasn't got it. And I want it. One, for completionist's sake, it does seem like they're trying to get making ofs made for all of the few remaining stories that don't have them. And I believe the rest of the season does. Plus, it'd just be interesting to hear a making of for the Twin Dilemma. We can find out exactly what went wrong. So I hope we get a making of for Twin Dilemma. Updated effects for Resurrection of the Daleks. That is a must. If Resurrection of the Daleks doesn't get updated effects, I'm going to be disappointed. It's a great story. I absolutely love the darker tone of it. I like the story. I like the location work. There are moments where some of the acting's a little over the top, like the one guy who dies, and boy, he really gives it all in his death. But it does need some updated effects, especially in those scenes when the Daleks are first trying to break Davros out and they're in the fight with the people defending the space station. You need some updated effects there. You guys know Prowl gets a little upset when he doesn't get his laser effects. He likes his laser effects, so I need my laser effects. Another thing is maybe some updated effects for Warriors of the Deep. More than likely, they'll only do one story. And if they only do one story for updated effects, it needs to be Resurrection of the Daleks. But there is some way, if there is some way, they could do two stories with updated effects. The other one would definitely be Warriors of the Deep. It needs them. Do Resurrection, but if for some reason y'all have money left over, not really a thing that happens in Doctor Who, do Warriors of the Deep. I would like a season overview. I tend to like when they do season overviews. And 21 is so different than season 20. Especially with this darker tone, which we'll see stay in season 22 as well. I kind of would love to see a season overview, basically talking why the season got so much darker, what they were going for, talking about the decision maybe to have the final story be Colin's first story. I actually absolutely would love to see a journey through season 21 and everything that was going through people's heads at the time when they were making and executing it. I'd like to see another location work. I tend to like location. I'm not sure how many of the stories had a lot of really good location work, but especially stuff like Resurrection of the Daleks. I'd love to see some fresh location work for that. Maybe where they go back to the locations and do stuff for that. I'd like to see a writer's room. I'm not sure how many of the writers from season 21 are still around, but I would love to see another writer's room get together. We haven't had one of those in a while. And the 80s writers are the only Classic Who writers we have left at this point. Well, 80s, I guess, and 90s writers for the Wilderness Years stuff. But for the show proper, because all of the 60s and 70s writers, with Chris having passed away. And, yeah, that's hard to realize they're all gone. But we still have the 80s writers, so I'd love to get a writer's room thing with them. And then the Doctor's Table. We haven't done the Doctor's Table in a while. To have a Doctor's Table with the 5th Doctor. And, of course, TARDIS Team 5. It's always so much fun when TARDIS Team 5 gets together anyway. I love TARDIS Team 5 together. Just the way they bounce off each other. Especially, of course, Peter and Janet was always so much fun. So I'd love to see a Doctor's Table for Season 21 and have them interacting together. That could be fun. And then moving on to the front cover, because that's pretty much the stuff I had listed for extras. The front cover, I absolutely would love it to be from Caves of Androzani, to have the 5th Doctor holding the vial of milk that he's holding at the end, the bat's milk, with the him looking haggard right there at the end of Caves, like the dirt all over this part of the jacket like it gets. You could have his hand holding the vial glowing with the regeneration energy, the modern Who regeneration energy, that yellow orangish regeneration energy. You could even have it coming off his face too, like he's holding back a regeneration, which he does in episode 3. You could even have his face starting to glow with the regeneration energy. You don't have to do that. The hand works just fine for that. But I would love maybe at least the hand glowing if you're not going to do the face. And then the background could be the actual regeneration energy we see at the ends of Caves. That magenta, psychedelic, whatever that is, like lava lamp, whatever, that fills the screen right as all the heads are swirling around, including the Masters, and then of course he pops up as Colin. You could have that as your background. So you could have like the modern regeneration, a nod to that with his hand, and then the homage to the actual regeneration from his story in the background of that. I think that would be really, really cool. That just clicked into me when I was making this list. I'm like, I gotta talk about that, to have that as the background of the season 21 set, because that's a cool regeneration effect. That's one of the best regeneration effects in Classic Who. The way that just psychedelicness fills the screen, and then when it clears, it's Colin sitting up. That's a really cool effect. I'd love to have that as the background. And then the enemies you could use there. There are so many to choose from. I mean, from Warriors of the Deep, you have the Silurians, the Merca, and the Sea Devils. You need at least the Silurians and the Sea Devils. I mean, you could use the Merca, but if you don't use the Merca, you can't just use the Sea Devils or the Silurians. You kind of need both of them since they both figure into that story. So you have the Silurians and the Sea Devils. And then you have, I don't even know what I wrote here. What? I don't even know what I wrote for that. You have the Tractators. The Tractators could figure on there as well. You have the Master in this season. I really don't need Anthony Ainley on another cover, really. He's on several of them. So I don't really need Anthony Ainley's Master on here when there's so many others you could pull from. I think I'd like to see a break from the Ainley Master because he's on way too many of the box set covers anyway, whereas Delgado only got one. It's really not fair. But I'd love to have the Tractators on there. The Daleks, since it's Resurrection of the Daleks, you need the Daleks and Davros. I would like to see the Daleks and Davros on there. You need that. You need Jek as well from Caves of Androzani. I mean, you could do Morgus, but I don't really think he's that intimidating to fellow to look at, so I would just do Jek, because you really need Jek with that Phantom of the Opera mask. It's so iconic, and Caves is such an important story. You need that. That's a must. And then you could have the Slogroth, or whatever, the little slug creature from Twin Dilemma. That's the main antagonist of Twin Dilemma. You could have him on there. I've always liked his costume. It's one of the few things I like about Twin Dilemma. I like that costume. So you could have him on there as well. I still don't know what I wrote right there. What? I'm trying to remember all the stories. Something from Frontios. No, that would be the Tractators. Oh, the Face in the Wall from The Awakening. You could have the Face in the Wall from The Awakening. I don't really like that, though. I would say the Silurians and the Sea Devils, Jek, Davros and the Daleks, the Tractators, and the Slug thing from Twin Dilemma should do you good. That would be a nice group of villains there. You'd have 6 or 7 on there. That would work really well. So that's kind of what I would like to see for the season 21 set, just right off the top of my head. I'm sure we'll get plenty of more goodies, and of course all the stuff from the DVD releases will be carried over, which will be fun to catch up on some of those. So I want to know what you would like to see for season 21. Bonus features and the front cover artwork. Comment down below and let me know. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button as well. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me on that. There's a link to that down there as well. Whew, I gotta take a breath. I also want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Colin Coney, Finn Perkins, and Stephen Crane. I appreciate their support as I do the support of all of my patrons. It's very much appreciated. I also have a P.O. box down there if there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review. A link to my Amazon wishlist is down there, and a link to my Amazon UK wishlist is down there as well. Most importantly, thank you for watching.